G'day guys, my name is Wildkard. Welcome back to my channel. We're going to be talking about the greatest sport in the history of the world, rugby. And this weekend, the Wallabies versus the Springboks in my backyard. Brand new stadium, by the way, $80 million. Yeah, Wallabies went down 8 points to 24. You may have won the game, but we did win the fight. Ibn Esmith got his ass kicked by my boy, Alan Alatoa. Yeah, everybody knows it doesn't matter if you win the game. If you lose the fight, you still lost, okay? We won the fight. We 100% won the fight. Now, let's talk about the game. First up, did anybody else at home got off their feet multiple times during this game, started chanting 5, 5, 5, 5, 5? Because I did. I was chanting 5, 5, 5, 5, fight many times throughout this game. It was very heated, a lot of hatred coming into this game following last week's performance by the Wallabies. So this week the Springboks wanted to bring something physical, and they still lost the fight. You still lost the fight. Anyway, also, I'm not gonna blame the referee because I'm not a South African. I am going to, however, blame the TMO for this loss. Okay, the TMO, obviously a Springbok fan, again and again, he calls up the referee on the field. Hey Ben, please don't penalize. There's a high tackle in the ruck. Ben, please don't penalize Sia Khaleesi. Ben, hello Ben. Oh yeah, reverse the penalty, please, Ben. So again and again, literally what he said, by the way. Again and again, the TMO reverses decisions on the field. The like penalty advantages, 7 penalty advantages to the Wallabies, no yellow cards, and the TMO calls Ben. I think there's a high illegal clean out. There's a high touch on the high clean out, and then they show the TV the softest high touch on the head in the clean out reverses the penalty. Yeah, 7 penalties gets reversed for a Springbok penalty because there was a touch in the head, right? And like 2 minutes later, Sia Khaleesi pretty much hits what was his name? White, not Nick White, Tom Wright on the head. Ben, that's okay because Sia Khaleesi's my hero, Ben. Tom Wright fall into that. Yeah, so that's not a penalty. Play on Ben. Oh, don't penalize Sia Khaleesi. Speaking of Sia Khaleesi, literally what he said, by the way. Speaking of Sia Khaleesi, he did a superhuman performance this weekend. His performance this week was probably the best. I can't remember. I don't remember another performance from him better than this one. He was absolutely dominating the breakdowns. Huge running. He knocked out basically Hunter Paisami for a HRA. And just by carrying the ball really hard into the contact. And then, just really good hands as well. There was one point where he set up a try for the Springboks where he rescued the ball from going out of sideline, scooped it up and threw it back in field. Just really physical. Really a lot of urgency. As the captain, he's obviously under a lot of pressure. And he really stepped up. Something that I was really impressed. And that's an effort that he could be proud. But he still lost the fight. So, I don't know. Maybe win the fight next time. So, next up, obviously, the Springboks had to make a lot of changes this game as well due to injuries. Because obviously, they lost the fight in the last game. So, they had to bring in young people for this game to replace all the injured players for losing the fight last game. And proceeded to lose the fight again this game. So, the new injuries came in. Obviously, biggest one is Damian Willemse had to play at a 10 position. He was given the instruction to do a lot of stupid boss kicks. A lot of high ball from outside of 22 into 22. I thought those were a little bit stupid. I can see what they were trying to do. They're trying to set up, obviously, Makazuma Mapimpi and Caden Moody to catch those high balls. He paid off once when Moody caught the ball and ran 40 meters, scored a try. He looked so good. I thought he probably should be playing for the All Blacks. It was absolutely spectacular. But then the other kicking game that Willemse, so the box kicks I thought was a bit of a waste of time. But the other kicking from Willemse where he was strategically trying to place the ball into the goal area. So the Wallabies has to ground the ball in goal to do a goal line drop out. I thought that's really smart from him because that really pinned the Wallabies inside the 22 and the Wallabies were struggling to exit the game as a result of that. So that's really good from Demi Valemsa. And also, at times, when the Springboks decided to not box kick, they look extremely good. Despite, making 10 changes, I thought the team on the field looked stronger than last week. Because when they did have the ball, they were able to link up their forwards, send their forwards into space, quick retention at the breakdown, and then utilizing the width of the field. Really good, silky smooth handling to the winger. Moody looking dangerous. And in fact, they did score a try doing this as well. Just spreading the ball out wide. Use the field. Use the, attacking weapons that they had. Looked so good, so dangerous. Literally, this looked like a better team than last week. This looked like a different team. When they ran the ball, they literally looked like a completely different team. And it was so beautiful to watch. And lucky for me, they didn't do this for the whole game. So they only did this twice, where they, one time they literally scored a try out of the two times they did this. So they look so good. In fact, both tries they scored, they did this. They were able to utilize the width of the field, and they end up, converting that into points, essentially. So, yeah, luckily they only did this a few times this game, because otherwise I was expecting a bigger scoreline than this one. So thank you for the box kicks, and really helped us in the long run. And also the what else do I want to talk about? The scrummaging was kind of even. It did look like, what's his name, Jem Slipper may have had a little bit of upper hand over Malherbe early in the half in the game, but in the second half the Springboks scrum looked a little bit stronger than the first half. And also the line-out maul, the Springboks were not really able to get too much out of the line-out mauls. The Wallabies did have the timing wrong in some of the mauls, but overall the Wallabies were the ones actually looking more dangerous in the maul. The Springboks had to sack the maul illegally a few times, giving away penalties to stop the Wallabies more. But unfortunately, the Wallabies were not able to get too many of those opportunities. In terms of line-out, this was also probably the worst performance in terms of line-out execution for Malcolm Marx. The 4 line-out slots for the Springbok this game. I don't think I can remember Malcolm Marx being this poor ever. And he played the full 80 minutes as well. And Dion Fury came onto the field as a flanker. So yeah, he was named as a reserve hooker, but they didn't play him as hooker when he came on. So just like I was saying, all you have to do is get Andre Esterhuizen to learn how to play flanker, and next thing you know, you can have 7 forwards on the bench. And then, that'll be a wet dream for Rassie Erasmus, right? Surely. He'll be waking up in the middle of the night, creaming his pants, having 7 forwards on the bench. But anyway, that's some idea for you to maybe to going forward. Yeah, you're welcome, Rassie. I just won the World Cup for you for 2023. Okay, trust me. 7 forwards on the bench is the new way to go. Okay. And then obviously Dion Fury adds up as the next loose forward, so you can play literally 4 loose forwards on the bench. Imagine you can have 1 loose forward, you can have the open side flank, you can have 3 open side flankers. Imagine that. Imagine how good that'll be. It'll be amazing. It'll be so good, so good. Just do it. I'll wait. Yeah, you feel free to have that one, Mr. Erasmus. And then for the Wallabies, there was, unlike last week where the Wallabies had a few set moves where they were clearly, did some video sessions, studied the Springboks defense, and, planned a few set moves ahead of times, and they just paid off immediately with tries to the Wallabies last game. None of the set moves worked. In fact, the Wallabies didn't look like they even tried many of the set moves. So maybe I thought, again, going into this game when the Springboks made that 10 changes on the bench, sorry, not on the bench, in the team, I did feel like maybe they felt like some of their players are becoming too predictable by the opposition, so they wanted to shuffle things up so the opposition can't predict them in terms of doing this, set moves to instantly score tries out of the defensive, loopholes, essentially. All of his ball handling was a little bit poor. Like I said, the scrummaging was decent. The maul was good for the Wallabies. Jem Slipper, I thought, did, again, really well. He looked like, some of the performances he's been putting in recent times are probably some of the best performances he put in his career. Again, he put a really tough shift today. And also, the injuries for the Wallabies, it looked like the Wallabies are getting injured going to the toilet on the bench. Apparently, that's what happened. In fact, I don't know what happened, but Tupou was named to play for the on the second half. He has a jersey on with a number on his back. At halftime, apparently he hurt himself. somehow, yeah. Getting pastries from the catering, and he or slipped in the toilet or something. I don't know. Something happened. He couldn't play. So yeah, that was really hurt for the Wallabies. And also, Lionel Alceu got injured early. HIA. Hunter Basami got knocked out basically by Sia Kalissis carrying the ball, charging into him. So the Wallabies were suffering a lot of injuries this game, and a lot of people had to play off position for huge duration of the game. So despite that, we still won the fight. We still won the fight when Ala Toa whipped Ibn Esbeth's ass. This beard is getting all over the place. Anyway, so with that being said, yeah, let's have a look at some of the game stats of the game, right? So match stats are absolutely dominant for the Springboks. 290 run meters, the Wallabies 185. Still lost the fight though, but you did have way more run meters than the Wallabies. At half time, the run meters was 103 meters to the Springboks, to 65 to the Wallabies. Carries pretty even overall, 89 to 82. So the Springboks was being more efficient with their run meters going forward. Like I said, if they just carry the ball, they probably would score more points. But yeah, thanks for the kicking game, I guess. Defenders beaten, this is an interesting stat here. So the Springboks has beaten 14 defenders in the first half already. So the Wallabies only beaten 3. In the second half, the Wallabies beaten 14 defenders in the second half, whereas the Springboks only beaten 4 in the second half. So the stats flipped for the second half in terms of defenders beaten. Turnovers conceded, 10 for both teams. Tackles made, 102 for the Wallabies, 128 for the Springboks. I thought the Springboks would have made fewer tackles, but 128 for the Springboks, 17 missed tackles for the Springboks, 18 to the Wallabies. Kicks in play. Springboks did look like they won the kicking game. 32 kicks in play, 25 for the Wallabies. Maybe a bit too much, but it did pay off one time when Moody scored that try. Looked absolutely spectacular. But the remainder of it, I thought was probably could have just done better just by running the ball, to be really frank. But hey, who am I to judge? Lineouts, like I said, this is probably the worst performance in the lifetime of Malcolm Marx. 4 lineouts lost, and the Wallabies also lost 3 themselves, especially in the second half, struggled a little bit. And the scrummaging, pretty even overall. The Springboks do lose one of the scrums due to a penalty, but outside of that, it looked quite even, I thought, for both teams. Penalties conceded, 13 against the Wallabies, 14 against the Springboks. 1 yellow card against the Wallabies for a cynical tackle early in the game. In offside position, Matt Phillip. For the Springboks, Marco Zulumapimpi poked his finger onto the face of Mirko Corambetti, and got a yellow card for that. And then and then Vili LaRue, deliberate knock on, got a yellow card as well. So yeah, there was a bit of a deja vu this game. So the Marco Zulumapimpi incident, he kind of like ran into the corner again, and Corambetti was sweeping across the field trying to tackle him. This time Mapimpi goes in for the try, and he gets up, puts his finger on it looked like, he pointed his finger onto Corumbetti's face, and after that there was a huge scuffle after that, and there was Ibn Esbeth basically took out, grabbed Al Alatoa and pushing off to the side, and Al Alatoa whipped his ass. That's what happened. Al Alatoa whipped Ibn Esbeth's ass. Okay? And he won the fight for the Wallabies, which is more important than winning the game. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. It's a fact. It's a fact. So, with that being said, Wallabies winning the fight. And the game started off with the Springboks dominant in the front foot once again. A lot of good, like the Springboks actually, straight away, they had like a penalty or something. They went for a line-out set up a maul. Immediately they tried to, milk a penalty from the maul. They were really patient. They did get a penalty out of that. And then they tried to, play their advantage with his penalty exactly, following the playbook. Damien Valenza gets the ball to center field. Twinkle toes around a bunch of defenders, look really, really threatening in the 10 position. And then they spread the ball out wide. They pile in onto the try line, looking really dangerous. But eventually, the Wallabies were giving away too many penalties. Eventually, they go back. The Springboks, gets a penalty right in front of the goalpost. Jaden Hendrickson takes a quick tap. Matt Phillip tackles him. in an offside position. Another penalty advantage the South Africans played on. Crash ball. Damian Delende gets the ball just meters short, right in front of the goalpost. Again, another crash ball from him goes straight through. He, scores a try. He is pumped. He just slams the ball on the ground, start pointing fingers, screaming to the fans. Yeah, quite a celebration there from him. And the Springboks gets ahead 7 points to 0. And the referee wasn't done. Pulls over Matt Phillips saying that he cynically made the tackle from the offside position. Yellow card. Yeah, immediately Wallabies were sent off with a yellow card. And also the temper started to flare out quite a bit. There's a lot of pushing and shoving already in less than 10 minutes. And the referee has to pull both teams out to tell them to calm down. I was screaming, fight, to the TV. Already less than 10 minutes into the game. On the 13th minute, there was a more penalty for the Springboks again. And then the Springboks wasted this opportunity by box kicking into the 22, and Marco Zulumapimbi was in an offside position to chase the ball down. He looked like he was away, potentially getting the ball by himself, but he did chase the ball down from an offside position. Again, despite that early start where the Springbok looked really, really good, scoring a try, just running the ball, Springboks starting to do a lot of kicking game. A lot of unnecessary kicks from the Springboks at this point. The breakdown for the Springboks is really brought us physicality as well. There was a lot of hard tackling by the Springboks, and as a result of the hard tackling, brutal hard tackling, the Springboks were able to get the momentum to get that, breakdown dominance as well over the Wallabies early into the game. On the 17th minute, there was a really good kick by Damian Willemse. Ford kind of parks the ball inside the try line. He did this a few times this game. Parked the ball just inside their ball area, so the Wallaby has to ground the ball and then do a 20 goal line dropout. And Damian Delende immediately drops his ball. He tried to stop the ball with his foot, and then he tries to catch it as the ball is bouncing around forward in front of him and drops the ball. Yeah, and the entire stadium laughed. I laughed too. This was really, really funny. On the 21st minute, Tom Wright drops the ball. Really, really funny. And then also the Springboks was basically following this, starting on the attack. It looked like there was a deliberate knock-on by Jet Halloway. Was it Jet Halloway? Yeah, Jet Halloway looked like he put a deliberate knock-on here. The referee says it was okay. Very good, very good. And then and also at this time the scrummaging is starting to look like Jem Slipper is kind of boring into Mahurba. He's kind of popping Mahurba out a little bit. Look like he's getting the dominance. But hey, the referee said it was okay. I don't know what I'm looking at. Just like the referee, I did. To me, if you look like Jem Slipper is having the dominance over Francois Mahurba. Depends on how the referee interprets it. It could be interpreted as boring in, but Mahurba did look like he was struggling regardless. So the Springboks also tried a crossfield kick after this scrum. Damian Willemse did a crossfield kick to Moody, I think he was, and Moody looked really dangerous out wide. He ran down the sideline and tried to offload the back in the field, immediately looking like he's plucked out of the Bulls training park, and immediately looked like his mate Jake White really, really proud with some of that move down the sideline. On the 25th minute, Nola Lasio, what is it called? Kicks the ball out on the full. Big mistake, allowing the Springboks back into the Wallabies 20, into the Wallabies half for a line out. And following this line out, Sia Khaleesi carries the ball forward, rams himself like a battering ram into Hunter Paisami, and they had a bit of a head collision as well in this one. I was surprised that the TMO didn't ring up hey, Ben, there was a head collision, Ben. Yellow card, Ben, head collision. Lucky he didn't do that, because he was probably busy getting beer in the first half of the game, but because literally nothing happened in the first half of the TMO. And suddenly, second half, he decides to step into everything. So Hunter Paisami actually gets taken off for HRA, did not return. On the 27th minute, the Wallabies overthrows a line out, looking quite bad. Mark Balkan recovers the ball. He throws the ball to Willemse. Oh, sorry. He throws the ball out wide. The Springboks crashes. I think it was Delende crashes the ball centre field. And Damien Valenza gets penalised for entering right from the side. So the referee was actually really giving out a lot of penalties at the ruck this game. So the Springboks got penalised a number of times doing this, where people entering the rucks from the side, and also the referee was really clinical on putting the hand on the ground before jackling the ball. Penalised the Springboks a lot of times for that as well. That is a very technical penalty. You need to put the hands right onto the ball. You cannot touch the ground. If you touch the ground, it's considered that you're off your feet. So the referee was really hard on that on Springboks as well. A number of penalties were given out as a result of that. Literally immediately after this entry from the side was given away, Malcolm Mask is penalised for exactly what I just said. Put his hand on the ground and then jackled onto the ball. Penalty for not supporting his weight, essentially. On the 29th minute, there was a line out. The Wallabies gets a quick ball out wide. Gets a high tackle penalty advantage to the Wallabies. No yellow card. On the 30th minute, finally the Wallabies gets another penalty up front. There was a lot of pushing, shuffling. I was screaming, fight, into my TV. No fights by the Wallabies. Was able to get a penalty out of this. Right in front, 22 minutes out also. Wallabies kicks for 3 points. 3 points to the 7. On the 33rd minute, the Springboks failed to find a touch. So the Springboks had a penalty from inside their own half from a maul, and they tried to kick the ball out for another line out. They failed to find touch, so that was a bit disappointing. There was another on the 35th minute, what do you call it? On the 35th minute, the Wallabies do some stupid stuff. They try to do a crossfield kick. I think it was not a lot of CO to Reece Hodge. And then AK, Andrew Callaway, decides to block Mapimpi, even though the, Mapimpi was nowhere near Reece Hodge to even make a tackle on him. He blocks him and gets penalised. Quite a silly penalty there by the Wallabies. On the 36th minute, the Springboks had a line out about 30 minutes out. Damien Valenza takes up the line. Nice offload. Really, really beautiful stuff. Nice offload to Lou Diacha, who runs through. He gets tackled, and the Springboks are now pounding pressure into the Wallabies 22. And then Springboks gets penalised for entering the right from the side. That happened again in a really, really important part of the game. So both teams are giving away a lot of these weird penalties like obstructions and entering right from the side and stuff. And as halftime is approaching, I'm thinking to myself, the Springboks are more dominant in the first half. It'd be pretty good if we can just walk in 3 points and 7. But no. On the 39th minute, the Springboks tried a high ball again. And this time, it's noticeable that Corin Betty may have hurt himself. He's limping around a bit. He's holding his calf. The TV camera was showing him grabbing his calf and stuff. The Springboks probably noticed this, decided to target him, a high ball straight to him. Kanan Moody runs in, jumps up perfectly, claims the ball, runs in 40 meters, scores a try. This was so good. It's almost something that you see straight out of the All Blacks. I don't know where they're getting these people from. What was it? The other guy that was what was it? Hendricksa? Is that his name? No, Hendricksa. The other guy, not Willemsa. The other guy that was red carded for taking out Bowden Barrett. Again, he was for the Springboks for so short. I already forgotten him, and now they got a new guy, Moody, who's apparently the new big thing for the Springboks for the 14 jersey. So who knows? But yeah, he looks so good. Runs straight in for the try. What a debut for him. Damien Williamson misses his kick from the sideline. Terrible kick, but halftime score 3 points to 12. The Wallabies are not completely out of the game, considering all the dominance the Springboks had in the first half. On the 42nd minute, again, this was just Sia Khaleesi, the Springboks came out of the shed, looking a lot more dangerous than the Wallabies, a lot more urgency. Sia Khaleesi, he ran down the sideline, just pound down the sideline right away, looking really, really dangerous, linking it up with his support teammate. And then the ball kind of gets thrown back, and it looks like it was going to roll out the sideline. Sia Khaleesi runs back, scoops the ball up, rescues the ball from going out, throws it back in field, and suddenly the Springboks is on another attack again. This part of the Springbok play is so good. I haven't seen like this for so many years. Just really nice hands. Like the forward was able to link up with other forwards for quick crash balls, quick recycling, and suddenly there was a two-man overlap out wide. They get the ball out, just quick good hands. Billy LaRue was involved. Damian Valemsa was involved. They just throw the ball out wide. Franco Moster gets the ball really close to the try line. He still had Moody out wide. He just runs himself in. Too close, too big for a try. Springboks gets the first try on the board. Sia Khaleesi was just a huge part of this try as well. So 3 points to 17 already, looking a little bit bad in the second half. But luckily, after this beautiful sequence of play by the Springboks, they reverted back to the kicking game. So good, so good. I wrote down here, this sequence of play was so good, they looked like a different team. Like a completely different team. It was so beautiful, so well handled. The Wallabies, on the other hand, starts falling apart. We got news from halftime that Tupou injured himself on the bench. And then Lolosio comes off for a HRA. And they had to put Jake Gordon, who's a halfback, at winger. So everything is not looking good for the Wallabies. On the 49th minute, there was a lot of space out wide. The Springboks just pounding into the Wallabies try line again. Looked like Makazulu Mapimbi was free open. Billy LaRue throws this big haymaker pass. Nick White intercepts it. Oh, if he didn't do that, Nick, what a man. He saves the Wallabies for a try here. On the 51st minute, there was another offside penalty to the Wallabies. This was a kickable penalty. Wallabies wants to go for a try. They kicked the ball out for a 5-meter line out. The Springboks was not able to handle this more, sacks it illegally, so Wallabies gets another penalty. And then following this penalty, more penalty, the Springboks proceeded to give away 7 penalty advantages in this one sequence of play. And then finally the advantage was, over, or was, ended, and the referee was going back for the penalty. The TMO calls the referee, Ben, there was a high tackle, high cleaner, Ben. Ben. And so they showed a high clean out allegedly. Really soft stuff. But yeah, the referee reverses 7 penalty advantage and a yellow card warning for a Springbok penalty. Because, the foul play overrides everything, right? Because, killing the ball cynically at the breakdown, professional fouls are not considered foul plays. But, an accidental touch on the head and a clean out is a foul play, right? So, yeah, that's how it works, guys. That's how it works. On the 58th minute, so immediately after this, right, the very soft touch on the head, Sia Khaleesi slams Tom Ryan on the head in a tackle. TMO calls Ben O'Keefe again. Ben, please don't give a yellow card, Ben. Tom Ryan slipped. Play on, Ben, play on. No penalty. So yeah, TMO says it was okay. No penalty, despite literally penalty was given for virtually the same degrees of danger. So yeah, because Sia Khaleesi, this guy is obviously a Springbok fan, the TMO. Again, the Wallabies, the Springboks can see more penalties, but inside the Wallabies half, so no yellow cards, I guess, despite the warning. On the 60th minute, the Springboks gets a 5-meter line out. Wallabies push a bit early on the maul, so Springboks goes for another 5-meter line out. Wallabies steals this one. So it was looking really good, right? Wallabies tries to exit the line out, exit their own half. They, what did they do? They tried to do some high kick, which they did recover. They did a high kick from inside their own 22. I don't know where they got this idea from. New Zealand, stupid kick from outside, from inside the 22, the box kicking outside of their own 22. Stupid kicks. But luckily they recover this one. But still, hey, you recover the ball, you're still just outside your own 22, right? Sia Khaleesi gets on it, immediately turns the ball over. Suddenly the Springboks in the attack again. So really smart stuff, right? Taking the losing strategies from the Kiwis and then, turn that into a winning strategy, I guess. And then luckily, P. Samuel saw this, coming, steals the ball a few phases later, saves the Wallabies, and then what's his name? He passes the ball to his old mate. Pisamo passes to what's his name? Rob Valentini, who punts the ball down the field, realizes that the backs don't know how to play the kicking game anymore. The forwards had to do it for them for on their behalf. So Rob Valentini kicks the ball out. Billy LaRue gets to the ball. He goes, I always wanted to play number 10, Rassie. Let me show you what I can do. He takes a drop goal. Yeah, Billy LaRue goes for a drop goal. Fell short. Wasn't even that difficult of a kick, to be honest. Should have got that. So yeah, Billy LaRue, you will not be playing number 10 anytime soon from that drop goal. On the 68th minute, there was a penalty on the breakdown against Steven Kishoff. So the Wallabies goes for a 35-meter line out. Wallabies getting a bit over eager with their carries. Robert Leota gets penalized. He gets tripped over essentially, like in a tackle. Wasn't held at all. He crawls forward, tries to get up. Referee says double movement. On the 66th minute, the there was a Springboks had a line out. They set up a more. The ball wasn't going anywhere. Goes to Velemsa. Immediately takes a kick option. He grubber kicks the ball behind. The ball parks just inside the Wallabies try line. So Tom Wright has to ground the ball. Provided that this was a really good kick, but still immediately goes for the kicking option. Didn't even try to spread the ball out wide. Tom Wright starting to take all the high balls on behalf of Corin Betty. He's starting to look like, and he's done really well for the second half. Claimed a lot of the high balls that the Springboks kicked to him quite cleanly without too much of an issue. So I was really impressed by that. On the 68th minute, the TMO calls Ben again. Ben, there was a neck roll in the clean out, Ben. So he calls him. Again, there was a penalty advantage to the Wallabies. He calls Ben O'Keefe for a neck roll in the clean out, reverses the penalty again. So yeah, on the 69th minute, Darcy Swain was able to steal a Springbok line out. Very good. Very, very good. And then they throw the ball to Marika Corin Betty. He immediately drops it. Very bad. Very, very bad. On the 70th minute, the Springboks gets a scrum penalty. And then there was a lot of pushing, shuffling going on following this. And I was screaming once again, fight. Did not happen. And then right after this scrum penalty, the Springboks managed to spread the ball out wide to Makazolo Mapimpi. This was a deja vu moment. He runs into the corner. Marika Corin sweeps across. Could not stop him this time. Mapimpi goes in for the try. He gets up. He looked like he kind of like pushed him in the face or poked him on the face with his finger. And then a real fight breaks out. And then Wallabies whipped the Springboks' ass in this fight. Alan Alatoa whipped Ibn Esbeth's ass. And then Makazolo Mapimpi gets yellow carded for starting the fight, which they lost. So yeah, don't start the fights you can't win. So he gets sent off for starting a fight that the Springbok lost. Gets a yellow carded. Wallabies really want to take advantage in the last 8 minutes or so to try to. Oh, sorry. The try stands. Francois Steyn slots the conversion from the sideline. 3 points to 24 to the Springboks. Let's quickly skip to the end, I guess. So basically, right at the end, the Wallabies gets a scrum penalty on the 76th minute. So they try to build this scrum penalty into a try. They go for the line out. They get the ball out quickly and try a few quick crash balls. And then there was big space out wide. Wallabies gets the ball, tries to throw the ball out wide. Vinny LaRue, deliberate knock on. And the ball, referee says penalty advantage. The Wallabies scoops up this deliberate knock on. Goes wide again. There's a loop, throw the ball over the top. Pete Samuel gets the ball, runs into the corner for the try. Referee comes out, yellow card, Vinny LaRue. But Wallabies still 8 points to 24. What's his name? Rhys Hodge tried to kick this conversion from the side, could not do it. And yeah, that's the way the game ended. 8 points to 24. You didn't win the game. We retained the cup, whatever it's called. Better luck next year, I guess, because we won one of the game. If it's a draw, we retain the cup. So, and then we also won the fight. So better luck next year in South Africa. Hopefully you win the fight next time. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next week for news. And have a good week.